Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. I am Popoola David from the Department of Agricultural Economics and Frame Management, Federal University of Technology. I thank Professor Abigail for allowing this work to have a headway, and I thank my supervisory committee led by Dr. Adebayo. This study is set to investigate how cooperative membership informs livelihood diversification to influence multi-dimensional poverty among poultry farming households. Empirical findings from poultry farming households in southwest Nigeria. Background to the study. Poultry production is importantly significant in the livestock agriculture sector worldwide, as it is being recorded that at least half of the world's poor keeps livestock, wherein poultry lies. Furthermore, poultry production checks or helps to check the issue of rising poverty, according to Robinson et al., World Bank, and UNDP. Wherein in the sub-Saharan Africa, where Nigeria lies, it has been estimated that at least 22% are living, 20% of the population are living below the poverty line, which is an issue of concern. However, this menace of poverty that we think it will be solved by poultry production is not really effective, as there is decline in production rate. As at 2011, the poultry production rate was estimated to be about 151 million poultry in Nigeria, according to Lombin 2011, which is now decreased or in the decrease to about 114.3%, as recorded by Animal Genetic Resources 2018, indicating about 24.3% fall. However, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture uh, has, has declared that farmers, on average, raise less than 1,000 poultry using crude implement at their disposal, which is a very big problem. However, cooperative membership is a panacea to some of this problem, as cooperative has been identified as an autonomous association of individuals who come together voluntarily to achieve their economic, financial, social, and welfare goals and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise called cooperative society. Also, livelihood devastation is another significant panacea to these menaces, as it helps also to construct a number of portfolios to improve or better their lives individually. It's a means of poverty amelioration among small farmers in Southeast Asia and West Africa, where Nigeria belongs, according to World Bank 2011 research gap. You can see that this study area, there are no much of researches that have been conducted in this very field, and also the scope is limited, as no one has ever combined livelihood diversification with cooperative membership alongside the effect on well-being. And also the methodology is also a gap, as most of them limited poverty to income, which is more than income. This is multidimensional. Also, the category of livelihood diversification is most of them focuses on income, which is not really only income, but this study focuses on participation, which captures income purpose and non-income purpose, with the aim of how it with the aim to know how it influences their well-being. Research objectives. This study has the following objective. The first one is to determine the livelihood diversification index by cooperative membership status. Also, analyze the multi-dimensional poverty index by livelihood diversification status. Also, to compute the differential effect of cooperative membership on livelihood diversification and the differential effect of livelihood diversification on multi-dimensional poverty, and to estimate the determinant of livelihood diversification of poultry farming household, and finally to profile the constraints being faced by cooperatives in the study area. The constituted framework is given also. You can see on the upper edge, you can see a poultry farmer is either a cooperator or a non-cooperator, with the goal of improving their welfare, and the options are given below. And also on the downline there, you have the livelihood diversification in which a farmer is either diversified or non-diversified with the goal of improving or achieving their welfare improvement aim. Study area. The study area is southwest Nigeria, particularly your state, wherein there is the largest number of poultry farming uh, activity in the state due to favorable weather condition and climate over the years. The data source is primary data sourced through questionnaire schedules. Sampling technique. A purposive to multi-stage random sampling technique is adopted as highlighted below. The first stage is purposive selection of your state as illustrated. Also, the second stage involves random selection of two agricultural zones, that's the Oyo and the Ibadan or Ibadan zone, and the third stage random selection of three local government areas, and followed by random selection of 10 villages, from which 24 villages is selected on the average, making a total of 240 households, from which 210 households were used due to quality of responses. The analytical technique we used the Magalev index, which has to do with the number of livelihood activity in which an household is involved into. You can see here, S is the number of livelihood option each household adopts, while LN is the natural logging team, and the number N there is the number of the total number of household, uh, the total number of livelihood options available in the sample. The Akira and Foster measure were used to capture multi-dimensional poverty, wherein the HODI is the head count index, while the Q is the number of the poor over N, the total number of individuals. Also, the A is the equation 3 is the average intensity of deprivation, in which the D there is the count of deprivation, in which the Q is the number of the poor, while the MO is the multi-dimensional poverty index, which is a product of the A and the MO. This approach uses a three dimensions of it uses a three-dimensional measure with 10 indicators of some selected standard welfare indicators, in which they are being measured or quantified to arrive at an index which we used in this study. Also, to determine the livelihood diversification, we use the Margaret index, wherein the YI is the livelihood diversification count, which ranges between 0 and 1, and the XZ are the covariate, and B is the parameter, the intercept, and the and the slopes, wherein the E there is the randomized term. The SPT function is given in equation 6 below. Result and discussion. You can see from the result, the age of the diversified is higher than the non-diversified. The age of the household head of diversified farming household is higher, and this is significant at 5% level of probability. And also talking about the competitive membership status, we can see that there's a very narrow margin between the diversification status of the competitor and non-competitor. So we have to conduct further research or analysis as shown in the determinants table, and I will show you in subsequent slides. Also talking about the diversified activities, we can see that non-farming has a large share of diversification as opposed to farming, which is very low, 10%, 0.48. Talking about the multidimensional poverty status, you can see that the bulk of them of the household are deprived in access to clean water, followed by access to quality education, quality health care, followed by access to infrastructure, that is electricity, followed by access to uh, asset acquisition, then followed by access to sanitation, for sanitation, in which we aggregated all these to have the AO, the HO, and the HEMO, and we can see that the diversified household suffer lesser deprivation, wherein the non-diversified suffer higher deprivation, and this is found to be significant at 10% level of probability. Now talking about the determinants of livelihood diversification, we can see that uh, the various factors that determines livelihood diversification is shown uh, here, and the multidimensional poverty increases livelihood diversification tendency, while cooperative membership, farming as primary occupation, primary source of labor, level of formal education, and gender of household head all discourages livelihood diversification. And talking about the perceived problems being faced by cooperatives in the study area, we listed a number of problems which they are facing, including access to loan repayment, transportation, marketing, training, and patronage, and political activities. You can see that they are all the respondents are all satisfied with all this, and it's not a problem, meaning that cooperatives are doing very well in the study area, and members and farmers should be encouraged to participate. Conclusion: we can see from the result of the study that a larger proportion, that's 59.05%, are diversified, and the diversified cooperative categories are more than the non-cooperative categories. However, from the detailed analysis, there's a negative relationship between these uh, two sites. Also, the multidimensional poverty index profile, the multidimensional poverty index profile favors the diversified categories, and this is a very encouraging one. And also, livelihood diversification and cooperative membership significantly increases multi-dimensional well-being of post-retirement households. Also, gender level of farm education, primary labor source, farming as primary occupation, and cooperative membership negatively influences livelihood diversification, while multi-dimensional poverty uh, positively influences livelihood diversification with their level of probabilities. Also, majorities of the uh, competitors are satisfied with the perceived constraints they are supposed to be facing, including access to loan repayment, transportation, marketing, training, and patronage and political activities. Thank you for listening.